Imagine a place where the dead aren't buried but are displayed in the open, or a culture that celebrates death with a feast. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Indeed, our collective human journey is marked by rites of passage, and perhaps none is more universal or profound than the rituals we perform to honor the departed. Across the globe, societies have developed an array of funeral traditions, each unique and rich with cultural significance. Journey with us as we explore the intriguing world of funeral customs, from the serene to the surreal, the somber to the celebratory. Picture a place where the deceased are not buried in the conventional sense, but rather their bodies are left in the open air to return to the elements. This is no dystopian fiction, but a practice steeped in spiritual belief and tradition. Or imagine a culture that views death not as an end, but a transition. Here, funerals are not somber affairs, but vibrant celebrations, featuring feasts, music, and dance. The departed are not mourned but celebrated, their lives honored in a jubilant carnival of remembrance. In some societies, death is not a solitary event, but a communal experience. The bereaved don't grieve in isolation but come together to share their sorrow, turning personal loss into a collective healing process. This communal approach to mourning fosters a sense of unity and solidarity, turning a somber occasion into a powerful bonding experience. While these traditions may seem unusual or even shocking to some, they underscore a fundamental truth. Our approach to death reflects our approach to life. They reveal our deepest beliefs, our most cherished values, and our collective identity. They remind us that even in death, we are profoundly connected to the living world around us. So, prepare to cast aside your preconceptions, open your mind to the unfamiliar, and embark on an extraordinary journey through the fascinating world of funeral traditions. From the mountaintops of Tibet to the vibrant streets of Mexico, from the verdant landscapes of Ghana to the bustling city of New Orleans, we'll explore the diverse ways in which humanity honors its departed. Hold on to your seats as we delve into the fascinating world of funeral traditions around the globe. High up in the mountains of Tibet, death takes a different flight. In the rugged terrain of Tibet, where the sky meets the earth, a unique and awe-inspiring funeral tradition unfolds. The Tibetan sky burials, or jator as they're locally known, are not just a means of dealing with the deceased. They're a profound spiritual ritual symbolizing the impermanence of life and the continuity of the cycle of life and death. In this unique tradition, the bodies of the deceased are not buried or cremated. Instead, they're offered to the vultures, considered sacred and revered creatures in the Tibetan culture. Vultures, known as dakini in Tibetan Buddhism, are believed to be angel-like beings that transport the soul from the earthly realm to the heavens. This act is seen as a final gesture of charity and compassion, a selfless offering of oneself to the circle of life. The process is carried out with utmost respect and reverence. The body is prepared by rojyapas, or body breakers, who disassemble the body in a specific ritualistic manner. The body is then placed at a designated location, often a mountaintop, where the vultures descend to partake in the offering. The sight, though seemingly harsh to outsiders, is seen as a beautiful and humbling testament to the transience of life by the Tibetans. In a world where we often shun death and treat it as a taboo, the Tibetan sky burials stand as a stark contrast. They embrace death as a natural part of life, a transition rather than an end. They remind us that we're part of a greater cycle, that our physical form is borrowed from the earth and must return to it, one way or another. The Tibetan sky burials are a testament to the Tibetan people's resilience, their deep spirituality, and their harmonious coexistence with nature. They're a reminder that even in death, there's beauty, there's life, and there's a connection that transcends our earthly existence. In the grandeur of the Himalayas, death is not an end, but a new beginning. Ever thought of your final journey in a chili pepper or a giant shoe? In Ghana, it's a reality. Welcome to the colorful world of Ghana's fantasy coffins, where the final resting place of a person is as unique as they were in life. In the bustling streets of Accra, the capital of Ghana, carpenters and artisans are hard at work, crafting coffins that are anything but ordinary. They are creating what Ghanaians call abebu adekai, or proverbial coffins. These fantasy coffins are pieces of art, reflecting the deceased's profession, passion, or symbolizing their status in society. Let's say, for instance, the departed was a fisherman. He might be laid to rest in a coffin shaped like a giant fish. A taxi driver might be buried in a coffin resembling a car. A fashionista might be interred in a coffin shaped like a lipstick or a high-heeled shoe. There's a sense of whimsy, a touch of the surreal, but it's also a deeply personal and meaningful tradition. Ghana's fantasy coffins are not just about design. They're deeply rooted in the Ga people's belief in the afterlife. The Ga people believe that death is not the end, but a transition to another life. These creative coffins are seen as vessels, carrying the deceased into the next world, a world where they will continue their profession or passion. Creating these coffins is no easy task. It requires skilled craftsmanship, immense creativity, and a deep understanding of the person whose life is being celebrated. Each coffin is a labor of love, a tribute to a life lived. But Ghana's fantasy coffins are more than just a unique funeral tradition. They're a celebration of individuality, a testament to the belief that every person is unique and that this uniqueness should be celebrated even in death. So, the next time you think about your own mortality, consider this. In Ghana, your final resting place could be as unique, as vibrant, and as full of life as you are. In Ghana, even in death, individuality shines through. In Madagascar, love for the departed is not confined to the grave. Here, the veil between life and death is not a rigid barrier, but a soft, permeable fabric that allows for continued interaction and celebration of the deceased. In the heartland of this vibrant island nation, an unusual and heartwarming tradition unfolds every 5 to 7 years. It's called Famadihana, which translates to the turning of the bones. This unique ritual serves as a testament to the enduring bonds of family, transcending the boundaries of life and death. The Malagasy people believe that the spirits of the departed do not move on to the afterlife until their bodies have completely decomposed. Until then, they are considered as merely sleeping, and it's the family's duty to look after them. This is where the turning of the bones comes into play. Family crypts are opened, and the remains, wrapped in shrouds of silk or cotton called lamba, are carefully brought out into the daylight. The lamba, often worn in life by the deceased, is replaced with fresh cloth, symbolizing renewal and continuity. But Famadihana is not a somber event. It's a joyous reunion, a celebration of life and death intertwined. As the bones are turned, family members dance with the wrapped remains, accompanied by live music and festive meals. Stories of the departed are shared, their personalities and quirks fondly remembered. Laughter mingles with tears, echoing the complex relationship between joy and grief, love and loss. This ritual serves as a poignant reminder of the cyclical nature of existence. It encourages the living to acknowledge death not as an end, but as part of a larger continuous journey. Moreover, Famadihana fosters a sense of unity among the living. It brings together families, often dispersed across the island, and strengthens their bonds. The turning of the bones is not just about remembering the dead, it's about celebrating life, love, and the enduring power of family ties. In Madagascar, death does not sever familial ties, but strengthens them. In Mexico, death is not mourned, but celebrated. This vibrant perspective on the inevitability of mortality takes form in the annual Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. This tradition, rooted in the deep cultural heritage of Mexico, is a 2-day celebration that occurs on November 1st and 2nd. It's a time when families gather to remember their loved ones who have passed away. But it's not a grim occasion. Instead, it's a lively, colorful festival filled with joy and remembrance. At the heart of this celebration is the belief that death is not an end, but merely a continuation of life in a different realm. The spirits of the deceased are believed to return to the world of the living during these 2 days, and the living welcome them with open arms and cheerful hearts. The celebration is marked by the creation of ofrendas or altars adorned with marigold flowers, candles, photographs, and favorite foods of the departed. These offerings serve as a beacon for the spirits, guiding them back to the world of the living. Families also visit cemeteries, cleaning and decorating the graves of their loved ones with vibrant flowers and mementos. They share stories and memories, laugh, cry, and even dance, transforming the usually somber graveyard into a place of celebration and life. In towns and cities across Mexico, the streets come alive with processions, music, and performances. Sugar skulls and skeletal figures, symbols of mortality and life's fleeting nature, are a common sight. Yet, they are depicted in a playful, almost whimsical manner, further emphasizing the celebration of life in the face of death. Food and drink play a significant role too. Families prepare traditional dishes like pan de muerto or bread of the dead and share meals together in honor of their departed ones. The Day of the Dead in Mexico is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the strength of cultural traditions, and the enduring bonds of family. It's a reminder that even in death, there is joy, there is color, there is life. In Mexico, death is a colorful celebration, a testament to the joy of life. In New Orleans, the rhythm of life continues even in death. Immerse yourself in the vibrant culture of New Orleans, where the passing of a loved one doesn't mean an end to the music. Quite the contrary, it's an occasion marked by a jubilant symphony of brass instruments and the rhythmic shuffle of dancing feet. This is the tradition of the jazz funeral, a unique celebration of life and death, deeply rooted in the city's rich African and European cultural heritage. Picture this: a procession of mourners, accompanied by a brass band, marches solemnly through the streets. This is the first line, a somber beginning to the proceedings, led by the bereaved family and friends. The band's tune is slow and mournful, a reflection of the sorrow felt by those who are grieving. But as they progress, the mood begins to change. The mournful dirges give way to the lively, infectious rhythms of jazz. This transformation marks the second line. It's not just a change in music, but a shift in spirit. The sorrow of loss makes room for the joy of remembrance. The mourners begin to dance, twirling umbrellas and waving handkerchiefs in the air. The streets of New Orleans come alive with the vibrant energy of celebration. This is not a goodbye, but a spirited send-off. The jazz funeral is a testament to the city's enduring spirit, a powerful mix of sorrow and joy, mourning and celebration. It's a testament to the belief that even in death, the rhythm of life goes on. It's a way for the community to come together, to share in the grief, and to lift each other up through the power of music and dance. This unique tradition, steeped in history and culture, is a beautiful example of how New Orleans has turned the act of mourning into an art form. It's a celebration of life, a dance with death, and above all, a testament to the power of community and music. In New Orleans, death marches to the beat of life. As we've seen, death is not just an end, but a celebration, a memory, a tradition. Our journey began in the rugged terrains of Tibet, where we discovered the profoundly moving sky burials, a tradition rooted in the Buddhist belief of impermanence and reincarnation, where the earthly remains are returned to nature, offered to the vultures as an ultimate act of generosity. It's a stark reminder of the transience of life and the interconnectedness of all beings. From the heights of the Tibetan mountains, we descended into the vibrant world of Ghana's fantasy coffins. Here, death is a grand spectacle, a celebration of life, with coffins shaped as symbols of the deceased's profession, passion, or personality. It's a tradition that encapsulates the Ghanaian belief in life after death, where the deceased continue their earthly pursuits in the afterlife. From there, we ventured to the island nation of Madagascar to witness the poignant turning of the bones ceremony, a tradition that blurs the boundary between the living and the dead, where families exhume their ancestors' remains, rewrap them in fresh silk, and dance with the skeletons in a jubilant carnival. It's a testament to the Malagasy people's deep respect for their ancestors and the belief in the cyclical nature of life and death. Our next stop was Mexico, home to the vibrant Day of the Dead festival, a tradition that transforms death into a colorful celebration where families honor their deceased loved ones with marigold-laden altars, sugar skulls, and festive parades. It's a tradition that embodies the Mexican philosophy that death is not an end, but a continuation of life in a different realm. Finally, we tapped our feet to the lively beats of the jazz funerals of New Orleans. Here, death is a performance, a musical procession that commences with a somber dirge and culminates in a joyous crescendo. It's a tradition that echoes the African and European roots of the city, transforming the sorrow of loss into a celebration of life and the spirit's journey to the afterlife. In each of these traditions, we see a common thread. Death, across cultures, is not just a moment of grief, but a celebration, a ritual that honors life, cherishes memories, and embraces the inevitability of our mortal journey. It's a testament to the human spirit's resilience and our collective quest to understand and honor the mystery of death. In the dance of death, every culture spins its own unique rhythm, making the end as extraordinary as life itself.